And then, you got Ron Carter, who went on to be the most recorded bassist of all time. Over 2,200,
Doesn't he play
whatever.
on a Tribe Called Quest?
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think you turned me on to him. I think you posted him on your Instagram or whatever, and I was like, "Who's this guy?" And I was like, "No way,
Yeah.
Tribe."
Yeah.
So he's on Electric Relaxation. You just have the poster up there.
Yes, sir. I do have the poster. Yeah.
He's the bass on that, which is amazing.
I don't quite remember if they had him record in the studio or if they just sampled a line, or if I don't remember exactly how it happened. But like you can basically find him in any genre in any decade.
Wow.
He's like the most recorded bass player of all time. 2,000 plus records with all sorts of people, mostly jazz oriented, But I was just listening to this Brazilian record that actually has Pat Metheny on it.
Oh, wow.
That they made in '94. I forget the name, but yeah, man, follow Ron Carter on Instagram because he's always posting. 50 years ago today, we recorded.
Follow Ron Carter, people.
Follow Ron Carter.
Shout out Ron Carter.
87 years old.
Also follow Carson. Follow Anonymous Bosch.
Thank you. Yeah. But
I'll have all your links and whatever in the description. All that
yeah.
stuff's going down there. Don't even trip. It's
Appreciate
check it out, YouTube people, freaking podcast people or whatever.
Yeah. I could talk about Ron Carter, Miles Davis forever. Ron Carter's still playing. He's 87. He's still playing live. He's still kicking it. Yeah, man. Totally check his stuff out. He basically is the bass sound of the century, of the 20th century. Like he heavily influenced everything.
Would you? He's like the guru bassist, I guess.
I mean, he's the maestro.
Yeah.
He's the great maestro Ron Carter. Like, you really can't compare. I mean,
how long has he been playing for?
he was with Miles from 61 to 64.
And it's 2024.
And it's 2024. So he's I think
like
he's
60 years.
I think he started on cello and he moved to bass in high school.
Wow.
He was born in 38, 37. So he's
like we were talking about earlier with putting in time. He has put in a lot of time.
Yeah, that's why nobody questions him. Why would you? It's like he's the oldest living bass player, best living bass player. Like,
that's the thing I love about music and the arts and everything and how everything's connected. It's like you hear the bass on the Tribe album. I didn't know it was him, but I'm like, oh, this is incredible. And then you come to find out,
you like that sound.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you like it because it's like the greatest bassist of all time.
Right. That is a hard label. Like, could you call him the greatest bassist? You totally could make that argument, and I wouldn't disagree with you.
I'm being hyperbolic.
Well, right. There's an argument to be made about many other bass players. Paul Chambers famously recorded Miles Davis's Kind of Blue.
Okay.
Most famous jazz record of all time.
Yeah.
Didn't have Ron Carter on it, even though he would later work with Miles. Before that was bass player Paul Chambers. He's up there. Charles Mingus is up there also. Yeah. There's all these guys that did their own thing.
It's also kind of like similar to sports. It's like people try to say, oh, Jordan was the greatest of all time. But it's like, if you really try to get objective about it, it's like, who is the greatest of their era? Because it's always evolving.
Right. Same with music, with sports, right? The game's always changing.
Yep.
What's meta is always changing. What's popular strategies, and then some strategies might no longer be good because other people are using different things, right? And then your strategy doesn't work anymore, or your player's strength doesn't align, right? Doesn't make up for the situation. So it's all strengths and weaknesses, and just where you choose to put that focus. Like, because there's probably like some crazy blues, bass player who's better than Ron Carter at blues, specifically, right? Like, you can't really do these blanket statements.
No, for sure.
With art or, generalizations.